I signed up for the Chinese one,
Oh, perfect,
then
yes.
the Benjamin Gifford one that's on
Oh, another good one.
yeah.
We have the painting team for the cirrhosis one.
Uh-huh.
It's a mother and two daughters. It's like they're staying in Trevitt. And then we've got the Ben Snipes guys, they're called the Wing Nuts.
Oh,
And we've been communicating for a few months.
uh-huh.
They're just like cool guys.
Oh, nice.
Fun. So dedicated.
Yeah. It's pretty impressive. There's a whole group of apprentice sign painters from Los Angeles.
Where?
From Los Angeles that
That's a
drove
drive.
up from LA.
Heck of a drive for
Yeah.
painting.
People from Europe, like from, I can't remember exactly which country, but like, I thought ours from Rhode Island came the furthest. They had 3 days on a train to get here. We picked them up in Rishram.
Oh, uh-huh.
But, yeah, and it's all free other than just the amazing organization your committee's done. Oh, God love you. Made ice water and left it at home. I was like, no. Paula?
Paula.
Yes.
Oh, thanks so much.
And I was saying it's all windows today.
Mhm.
One door.
Yeah. Yeah, one door.
Yeah, they're so expensive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're showing the options like out in here. Yeah. Somewhere in here. Yeah. It's like $1,000 a window. Ooh.
We had to do that with Trevor. It was just, but
Costly for the historic ones. Got a couple minutes still. We'll see if Scott shows up.
there's Julie popping on. Hey, Julie. So you need 4 cover.
I think we just need 3 for quorum, right, Paula?
Oh, good.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Where's Bob?
You looking at me? She was directing.
Yeah, yeah. Well.
Here, Julie, I forgot to turn on the microphone.
Oh, it's on now, I think.
Technology is hard for me. So ironically, I ended up in this position.
No, I was like, maybe. Right, with 100 outside, definitely fine.
Warm up and all.
It'll warm up in here. Oh, it kicks off.
Too cold?
No,
No.
no, it's nice. Thank you, Paula. You want me to wear a mask?
Oh, no, it's okay. I just work from home, so every time I go into public, I.
Oh, yeah. Like, I don't know. Is there masks?
I got one of those somewhere. I think it was through the city somehow, but I don't remember how I got it.
You just kind of slip it over to your bag, like.
No, I did like some kind of like little class where you go through each of the departments of the city and learn about them.
So it was like a little gift.
Yeah, exactly. You got a pencil, you got a mug, and a little certificate saying, congratulations, you know about the city.
The urban renewal grants, is there more funds? I just hear that there's more funds coming available. Oh, I know the numbers.
Urban renewal kind of revamped itself.
Would this affect our people today?
Don't really know. Could
Yeah.
probably.
It's not.
A good question, yeah. Well, it's 4 o'clock now, so let's call this meeting to order. Paula, would you like to do a roll call?
For Bev Aggie,
Present.
first Eric Lee,
Present.
Eric Gleason,
Here,
Bob McNary is absent, Scott Stevenson is absent, Julie Reynolds,
Here, present.
Scott Randall is absent.
Thank you, Paula. All right, let's all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of
Flag,
the United
United
States of
States of
America,
America.
to the republic
Republic
which
which stands
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. All right, committee members, have you all had a chance to look at the agenda?
Yes.
I'll take a motion to approve the agenda as it sits, or if you'd like to make some changes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda as it's.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you both. We'll be looking at both of you today, all the motions and seconds right here. So now we'll move on to approval of the minutes of May 25th, 2022. Did you?
Vote on it?
Oh, we do have to vote on it. Thank you. So all in approval of the agenda, say yay.
Yay.
Yay. No one is saying no, so that was approved. Thank you, Eric.
Sure.
So now we'll move on to the minutes of May 25th, 2022. Has everyone had an opportunity to review those?
Mhm.
Okay, I would accept a motion.
I'll move to approve the minutes of the May 25th, 2022 Landmarks Commission meeting.
Second that motion.
Okay, everyone that approves?
Yay.
Aye.
Aye.
Yay.
Ayes have it. Thank you very much. All right, public comment. During this portion of the meeting, anyone may speak on subjects that do not appear on the agenda. 5 minutes per person will be allowed. Anyone from the audience have anything they would like to discuss that's not on the agenda tonight? Saying none, we will move on. Okay, we're moving right along. So now we're on to the public hearing portion. Now is the time for the specified for the Historic Landmarks Commission to conduct a public hearing. The purpose of this public hearing is to consider the following matters: HLC application 207-22 and HLC application 208-22. The substantive criteria upon which the Historic Landmarks Commission will base its decision on in this matter are contained in the city's comprehensive plan and land use and development ordinances. A public hearing is required by law and certain rules apply. First and foremost, you must be recognized by the chair in order to speak, present, and present testimony. When recognized by the chair, please state your name and mailing address for the record. The hearing is required by law to be recorded. Generally, the public hearing is a procedure that is generally the hearing procedure is as follows. Prior to the public hearing, a determination will be made of the qualifications of the commission members and allow for challenges from the audience. I will open public hearing with a staff report. The purpose of the staff report is to further identify the applicable criteria of the application being considered and provide background information about the application. After each report, we will hear testimony from the proponents, those persons in favor of the application. Next, there will be testimony from the opponents, those not in favor of the application. Next, there will be testimony from anyone else who wishes to offer testimony or ask questions. Then, to honor the right of rebuttal, we will again hear from those in favor of the application. To expedite the hearing, commission members may ask questions of persons as they testify. When this process has concluded, we will close the public testimony portion of the hearing. During the hearing, some important standards apply. First, all those who testify must hold their testimony to the decision criteria. As in all land use hearings, there are a complete set of rules, procedures, and criteria that we must follow. Second, failure to raise an issue accompanied by statements or evidence sufficient to afford the commission members and the parties an opportunity to respond to that issue precludes an appeal to the Land Use Board of Appeals based on that issue. Third, the failure of an applicant to raise constitutional or other issues relating to the proposed conditions of approval with details specific enough to allow the city to respond to the issue precludes an action for damages in the circuit court. Fourth, prior to the conclusion of the public hearing, any participant may request an opportunity to present additional evidence, arguments, or testimony regarding the application. If such a request is made, the law states the commission must grant the request by either continuing the hearing to a date and time at least 7 days from the date of the initial hearing, or record must be kept open for a period of at least 7 days. These are the rules. Are there any questions? Seeing none. Do any of the commission members have ex-party contacts or conflicts of interest, bias, or which would prevent you from rendering an impartial decision on this matter?
I was contacted by a concerned neighbor about the 4th Street property, but I don't think that biased me in any way.
I think I had the same call.
Hmm.
Thank you both. Does anyone in the audience wish to challenge the qualifications of any of the members of the commission? Seeing none. Public hearing is now open. May we please have the staff report?
Okay, I'm just gonna share my screen here so we can all look at the slides together. All right. Perfect. All right, so today we're going to be talking about the historic landmark application 207-22. The applicant is Lindsay Jemay. The address is 116 East 2nd Street.
Hey, Jim. Are you there?
Oh,
Julie, can you mute yourself?
okay, I'm gonna keep on going here. So the classification of this building is non-contributing, but it is
No,
located within
in
the
a- I'm
commercial
in a-
historic district.
I'm in a Zoom meeting.
That's okay. Okay, so the proposal is the applicant is requesting approval to replace 5 existing windows and a door on the rear of the building, facing the alley of City Hall. Okay, so as you can see, this is where the subject property is, and the arrow is pointing to the building face where these windows are being replaced and where the door is being replaced. This building was built in 1910, and in 1923, a furniture store was located in the eastern portion of the building, and then a meat market was located in the western portion. So this building was altered extensively in the 1960s when the furniture store expanded into the other storefront. So this is the existing conditions prior to the vinyl windows that have been installed in the rear of this building. So as you can see, there's an existing blue door that would be the one that would be replaced. And then the green windows on the second story are the other windows that are going to be, or that's being touched on in this application. So this is the existing conditions as of today. You can see that there's white vinyl windows that have been installed. And the applicant provided a nice drawing of the building face, really just letting us know which windows that they are proposing to replace and not replacing, and then the door that sits in the middle. The applicant provided multiple options for this application. So option A is a wood encased window, and also known as a wood composite window, which is a blend of wood and other materials from what the site description was. Option B is full wood windows. Option C is vinyl windows. The applicant has indicated that this is their preferred window due to egress and insulation and cost factors. And then option D is reinstall the original windows. These are wood windows, original to the building. They do have lead paint on them. And then the proposed door, the applicant provided details regarding the material that's proposed to be used. So it's a rear, fiberglass door with a carbon paint. So it's like a black color, pretty typical for a lot of rear buildings in the downtown. So diving into staff findings. So actually, before I get started in staff findings, I do want to let you know that staff reached out to SHPO regarding the composite window, because honestly, this is my first time that it's been proposed, these composite type or wood encased windows. And I wanted to know if they considered that, on the same level as a wood window. And they indicated to me that it was not considered a wood window. However, there have been communities in Oregon that have approved these types of windows in historic districts and on historic buildings. So just wanted to let you guys know that's kind of some feedback I received from SHPO. So now moving right along to the staff findings. So this application, the first finding that we look at is if it's going to be used for its historic purpose or placed in a new use that required minimum change to the defining characteristic of the building and its site and environment. So the applicant isn't coupling this application with a change of use, and there's no plans or modifications that would alter a defining characteristic other than the windows in this application. So not really changing the use with this application. The next finding is the historic character of the property shall be retained and preserved. So the removal of historic materials or alterations of features and spaces that characterize the property shall be avoided. So, this kind of depends. Okay, which option is going to be approved here today? So with the wood windows, if this replacement is necessary to meet egress requirements, wood windows would be considered a defining characteristic of the structure. So because of this, installation of vinyl or composite windows would be considered an alteration that's inconsistent with the character of the building. So either new wood windows or original would retain the historic character of the property. And so staff found that new or original windows could meet this criterion with applicable conditions. The vinyl windows would not match that historic characteristic or the wood composite windows. So this property is recognized as a physical record of its time. Window replacements and the new door would not create a false sense of historical development, right? Because it is just replacing one feature on the building. So they do meet this requirement. And, there isn't, most properties do change over time, and these changes that have acquired historical significance in their own right shall be retained and preserved. That's one of the criterion. But the applicant is not proposing to change anything regarding like its historical significance, and it is defined as non-conforming. So they meet that criterion. The next criterion is the distinctive features, finishes, and construction techniques or examples of craftsmanship that characterize the property shall be preserved. So wood windows are considered a distinctive feature on this building face. So replicating or preserving the original wood windows would meet this standard as it would preserve a characteristic feature. So this would be the original wood windows or the new wood window replacements. The proposed vinyl windows would not comply with this standard as it would not like display the same craftsmanship as a wood window would. So they meet this criterion with the original or the new wood windows for this criterion. And the next criterion is deteriorated historic features shall be repaired rather than replaced. So where the new, when there is like deterioration that requires a replacement of a distinctive feature, that feature shall match the old in design, color, texture, and other visual qualities and where possible materials. So replacement of missing features shall be substantiated by documentary, physical, or pictorial evidence. So staff could not find any historical photos of the rear of this building. However, we, checking with SHPO and seeing, doing research on, okay, wood windows are considered to be a distinctive feature on historic properties. And so staff found that wood windows or the original wood windows would really replicate that kind of historic characteristic of this building face. So the vinyl windows wouldn't match the original windows as they're made of a different material and they have a vertical split rather than a horizontal that kind of matches what's shown on the original, on the original building windows. The proposed composite windows is a blend of wood and other materials, and so it doesn't match like the original material or texture as it mentions in this criterion. So staff found that the new or original wood windows would meet this criterion. So this criterion is talking about chemical or physical treatments, and the applicant is not proposing any chemical or physical treatments, but any planned cleanings would require to meet the standards set forth by the Secretary of Interior. So this can be met with conditions if needed. And the next criterion is significant architectural resources affected by a project shall be protected and preserved. If resources must be disturbed, mitigation measures shall be undertaken. So there's not going to be any ground disturbance or excavation with this application. So this criterion is not applicable. So this criterion is talking about any new additions, exterior alterations, or related new construction shall not destroy the historic material that characterizes the property. So new work shall be differentiated from the old and shall be compatible with its massing, scale, and size and architectural features to protect the historic integrity of the property and its environment. So a lot of the same information that I'm kind of relaying here, but so what we're looking at is the material, and the original wood windows and new wood windows would comply with that material in massing and scale and preserve those architectural features. However, the vinyl windows, they do look a bit smaller than the original windows to the building. The existing door is not original. It has no defining characteristics. So staff found that a new door would not destroy historic material or characteristics. The new original wood windows would meet this criterion with conditions as well as the proposed door. So any new additions or adjacent or related new construction shall be undertaken in such a manner that if removed in the future, the essential form and integrity of the historic property and its environment would be unimpaired. So the essential form and integrity of the structure will be protected with the new window and door replacement. You know, they're not proposing on taking out any of the brick that's original to the building. And so the modifications are planned to be installed to ensure that the essential form and the integrity of the historic building will be unimpaired. So the criterion's met with this one since there's no really large changes structurally. So this is kind of looking into specifically the Dallas Commercial Historic District. And we're looking at materials. So in this section of the code, it specifically states that the use of wood for windows is recommended, and that the new construction should be compatible and use materials that are predominant materials of the commercial historic district. So in looking at this section, and it is trimmed down a little bit because in the code it talks about a lot of things that don't really touch on doors or windows. Staff find that they're not altering any existing brick on the subject building, but since wood windows are recommended in the commercial historic district, that, we're going to work to preserve those historic or those wood windows whenever possible. So either the new wood windows or reinstalling the original wood windows would comply with the standards above as it maintains the historic character of the building. The door the original door isn't really adding any historic features to the building. And so staff found that would meet these standards. And so, they could meet this requirement with the new wood windows or the original. And so staff would move to approve this application 207-22 with the conditions of the approval based on the findings of the fact detailed in the staff report. And in the proposed conditions, it says the original windows must be reinstalled or replaced with new wood windows. So that's staff's recommendation. There are a couple other conditions of approval, but yeah, that kind of concludes the staff report at this time. Yeah.
Original windows, the vinyl ones replaced, they're still intact. They're saved. They're
Vinyl windows or the original wood windows.
the vinyl replaced.
So the applicant stated in there that was one of the options is to reinstall the original windows.
Are they in good repair? Do you know what condition they're in? Are they?
I personally do not know what condition those original
Ask the
windows.
Applicant when they're.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a little premature.
No, yeah, but that would be a great question for the applicant.
Thank you very much. Caitlin,
okay.
any other questions for her? Seeing none, we'll move on. Thank you. So who is going to be the proponent of this? Who is speaking on behalf of this application? Come on up. And please state your names and your address for the record, please.
Speak really into the microphone.
Lindsay Jamay, 1707 Lincoln Way.
I'm Jamay, 1707 Lincoln.
Do you want your application up on the screen? Because I can grab it up really quick.
Could you put the back facing view of
Yes,
the
yep.
building up? I put context.
Yes.
Do we make statements or do you guys ask questions?
If you want to make a statement before we ask questions, go right ahead.
The first thing I'll just add real quick, it wasn't mentioned the vinyl windows, we were kind of stopping. Initial plan was wood. And color. Just looking at the back of that building, I don't see a lot of historic. Alley. $7,000. That's just my initial comment. I have plenty more.
Are you guys familiar with this building? So it's the old Sears building downtown. So the front of the building doesn't look historic at all. It was extensively remodeled in the 60s. So really the only piece that even has any bit of historical nature is the back. If you see, there's like cinder block, there's old brick, there's new brick. And so we started doing this project. We didn't really feel like there was a whole lot to save when it came to the back of the building, which is why we had proceeded in the way we've done. And it is a non-conforming, non-contributing classification of the downtown. If you do take a stroll around downtown as well, there are a number of vinyl windows kind of scattered throughout. So we didn't think in the back of a building it was an issue. We thought for a front of a building it needed approval. That's where pedestrians are walking. So we're trying to do our best to still invest in this building. We have taken on a huge chunk to do. And this just isn't a portion of the building that really provides any value to what the pedestrians are going to be.
For non.
They
Ready to
only
be
opened.
Single pane. They are in the big, actually know a person at the old Legion building. And
Thank you. Any questions from the commissioners?
Well, the one go ahead, Mary.
Oh, so you've saved the original windows. Have you got any kind of estimate on the cost to restore those?
No, I think our biggest concern on trying to redo those is the wood is deteriorating on it. So I'm not sure how much they're actually going to seal. So from just like there was water damage in the corner of the building from the seal of the window. I am looking at the right hand side. So we're probably more concerned about just functionality than
it would be a substantial. Redo them and have them.
Compared to new wood windows, it would be
Also-
cheaper than that.
I think they're probably be on par.
So it'd be better just to get new ones, new wood windows, opposed to restoring the original ones that we still have.
Yeah, just so no one. That would be the best.
Any other questions, commissioners?
The
I have-
egress question.
I
guess,
can't
is-
hear. Caitlin, I can't hear at all.
Oh,
Can you mute her from the?
Julie,
Yes,
is your volume turned up on your computer?
yes, it comes in and out. It fades in and out. I couldn't hear the presenters. I can hear the board a little bit, but
Okay, would you all move into your microphones? Thank you. And Lindsay, let's use your outside voice.
thank you very much.
Well, I guess I'm like to kind of commend you for taking on this project and realize that the front of the building is really pretty substantially altered. And it's hard to even imagine what it must have looked like before that alteration. Oftentimes in the Dalles, the alleys are kind of the best representation of what these buildings look like before that whole remodeling phase took place in the 40s through the 60s in town. So sometimes they're kind of the best clue and the best reminder of what, the town looked like. I mean, you couldn't even tell that this was a brick building from the front really anymore. So we kind of like to preserve that view as well. And we also, they're painting a mural right next to this right now. So it becomes from what had been kind of the back view and hidden away, it now becomes kind of more prominent. So that's just my thoughts on the matter. And So, it's kind of hard to think about that door. Looks like it's all plywood and everything, right? So it's probably a 20th century, mid 20th century addition or something like that. Nothing historic. It's not plywood over old doors or anything like that.
Not solid.
Yeah.
Have you looked into, sorry, Eric, are you finished?
You can ask a question. Oh,
I just kind of
can
butted
tag
it in, but. Did you look into any funds like urban renewal type funds or anything that could help with those type of projects?
Depending on what is decided tonight, I know there's a grant money that is recently became
Yeah, there's
available,
something,
so we would
mhm.
plan on including that in an application. So hopefully that would help with the cost, whatever the decision is.
That one of the concerns when we approve vinyl or something, then it just is, it kind of goes the next one. Well, they got vinyl. It sets a precedent and it's not the direction that we want to go with such a historic town. I mean, but then the compassion, people that are going to spend that kind of money to restore old buildings and keep this revitalized, that's where our heart is. So it's a very conflicted thing. But I think all of us have old houses and we've done that big purchase and we know how much it hurts,
Yeah.
to choose wood and restore the wood and all that.
and
We've done a couple.
oftentimes, I mean, if you have any skill at all, the cheapest option is to restore the original.
The learning
it
curve is
really
high,
is.
but it's kind of worth it.
And we just had a workshop, 2 months ago or something, like a free workshop on wood window restoration. And so it's something that we really encourage and really, well, we encourage it for a lot of different reasons. One, because windows really are the eyes and kind of the visual eyes of a building. They're really distinctive, even back windows. So we really want to do everything we can to save those. And then oftentimes those original windows are the best windows you can get. I mean, the old growth wood and all of that kind of stuff, they've survived 100 years with care and feeding and everything else. They'll last another 100 years, whereas vinyl definitely has a lifespan. And wood replacement windows probably aren't the same quality of wood that they used to use either. So there's a lot of reasons to really encourage people to retain their original windows. And there's also been a lot of studying recently that, an original wood window properly weather stripped and restored and everything is nearly as energy efficient as insulated glass windows. So a lot of things that are seen as hindrances to restoring and using historic windows are not that. So I'll get off my soapbox. but-
I agree. and we appreciate it.
Yeah,
But I personally, that alley's not all the time anyway, so I don't think we want to encourage traffic back there. But to have that investment.
Any other questions from the commission? Thank you both very much.
thanks. Mhm.
Following the conclusion of that, are there any opponents that would like to speak against this? Seeing none. Julie's not waving her hand up there. No, okay. All right, so following all that, the public hearing portion of this is now closed. And we will debate amongst ourselves.
What murals close to that? In the two buildings? I'm trying to remember. which one.
Oh,
We have a list somewhere.
no, the one that's just, they're putting right up over there.
Which, Fourth Street. That's the Civic. Is it number 6?
But it's still.
Yeah,
And
That's kinda
they- they-
immaterial, I
They
guess,
design the
but-
murals so it's a walking tour against traffic and not, and often it will be the alleys that they'll travel to see that with these 15 new murals.
Exactly.
So that's a really valid thing that you brought up, Eric.
Yeah, I'm with the staff on this one. If they can't store the originals, I would go for the new wood.
So it would be, they have that option, either one. They could- Which goes,
Caitlin, could you please pull up the conditions of approval that you had prepared? 'Cause
Yes.
It looked a little bit different than what we had in the packet.
Goodness. Okay. Sorry, here you go. I just did a screenshot of it, but I can also pull up the Word document if this is too
The way you could
small.
Zoom in on that.
Yeah, I can definitely zoom in.
you know, the house that, right next door, and there's all the windows there, and we just, he went with. what-
Okay.
Right there, yeah.
Oh, yeah, they are a little different.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, let me pull up the most recent staff report. Pardon. Wrong one. Sorry, you guys, just a moment, muddling through here. Okay. Here we go. I'm gonna stop sharing because it's getting in the way. Sorry about this. You'd think I'd get the Zoom thing by now, but we keep learning. Okay. So this is the final one that I have that should have been included in the notes.
Our packet's a little bit different, but I do like the wording on this one more than what we
Oh.
have.
Mhm.
Uh, 32.
Yeah, those ones are, because this one doesn't, yeah.
Yeah, I like those ones more.
Yeah.
We'll work off of what you have there. as the
Okay,
official one.
apologies for any confusion on that.
No problem. Is there any more? Anybody want to say anything else?
Oh, I think we have enough information. If one of you would like to make a motion.
I guess I'll make a motion that we follow staff recommendations with the proposed conditions of approval 1 through 4. And the staff conclusions as well.
I'd second that motion.
All right, we will now take a vote. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Unopposed? It passes. Okay, so now Caitlin, may we please have a staff report for HLC application 208-22?
Yes.
Our neighbors, others already. I
Mm.
haven't met them, but
But tell them right now.
I'm for potluck.
All right. Okay. So moving right along here, you all. Thanks for your patience with some of my technical difficulties, but we're back on track. So, okay. Okay, so the next HLC application, the applicant is Kira Austin, and the address is 204 West 4th Street. So the classification of this building is secondary and contributing, and it is in the Trevitz addition. So the applicant is requesting approval to replace existing windows, either replace or repair the window trim and repaint the exterior stucco. So as you can see, this is an area where the duplex is located. This is a building that is built in a Mediterranean style, really kind of different than the rest of the buildings in this area. So it was constructed in 1930. So this building is stucco, featuring a flat roof and a front stepped parapet. The windows are a combination of casements and 1/1 double hung wood sash windows. And one of the things that are interesting about this building is that it has the prairie grid style windows, as you can see on the inside there, if it's not too small. So the applicant is proposing the replacement of all the upstairs existing windows with new wood, fiberglass, and vinyl windows. So I'll kind of show you. So the existing windows, you can see it's a red and white color scheme that they have here with the trim. There is lattice on the basement windows, if you're looking down here below. So the applicant is proposing to replace the first floor windows with wood, except for the bathroom windows, which are these two smaller windows with those, I believe, would be new fiberglass windows with white prairie grid trim design. And I'll show you guys what that looks like later. And then the basement windows are down here, and that would be replaced with white vinyl windows.
So one basement window and one.
Okay. Okay, so I can, okay, so with that correction, just one bathroom window that will be replaced with vinyl white fiberglass, and then one basement window that will be replaced with vinyl. So this is the basement window. As you can see, it does look at that prairie design in here. So, and then this is the fiberglass window that would be replaced in the bathroom on the first floor. So as you can see, just a reminder where that's located. And then these are the new wood windows that would be replaced on the first floor on the upper. That's the majority of all the windows throughout the house. And as you can see, it does replicate that kind of prairie grid design.
Just on the upper sash.
Just on the upper sash, yes. And you can see that as being consistent with the windows that are existing. So that's one of those existing windows there on the left-hand side of the picture. Okay, so diving right into staff findings. So first criterion is that the property shall be used for his historic purpose or be placed in a new use that requires minimal change to the defining characteristics of the building and site and environment. So the applicant is not proposing a change of use with this application, and the structure shall remain a duplex. But from the historical records, that's like what it was built originally. So that criterion is not applicable. The historic character of the property shall be retained and preserved. So the removal of historic materials or alterations of features and spaces that characterize a property shall be avoided. So the applicant explained that, This replacement is necessary to preserve the building, increase energy efficiency for the residents in the duplex, and to remove lead-based paint. So replacing the first floor windows with double hung wood windows would not alter the features that characterize the buildings in the opinion of staff, since the applicant will replace similar features present on the building, like the interior wood trim, wood paint, and the prairie grid window design. So for the proposed basement window, with the white vinyl windows and the one bathroom window with white fiberglass, would be an alteration to the existing wood window features that are inconsistent with the character of the property. So the vinyl and fiberglass wouldn't be considered to be would be considered to be an alteration that's inconsistent with the character of the property, but the wood windows would be considered to be consistent. So because of the wood window and the fiberglass window, this criterion is not met. So the next criterion is each property shall be recognized as a physical record of its time, place, and use. Changes that create a false sense of historical development, such as adding conjectural features or architectural elements from other buildings, shall not be undertaken. So this property is recognized as a physical record of its time, and the applicant has demonstrated that they intend to match the original red and white window trim that's present on the building. They also propose to repaint the building in, the same paint color of the white stucco. So the window replacements will not create a false sense of historic development. So they do meet this criteria. So most properties change over time. Those changes that have acquired historic significance in their own right shall be retained and preserved. There are no such changes that are proposed with this application. So this criterion is met. So distinctive features, finishes, and construction techniques or examples of craftsmanship that characterize the property shall be preserved. So windows are considered to be a distinctive feature to a building face. The applicant has demonstrated on their application that they intend to replace all the first floor windows in a similar wood and matching trim that closely match the existing windows to the property. As mentioned, like the previous finding, the applicant's requesting the bathroom and basement windows to be replaced with fiberglass and vinyl. And so since this is considered a distinctive feature to the historic building, this alteration would not match the craftsmanship that is present on the building currently. And so therefore they do not meet this criterion in staff's opinion. So the next criterion is deteriorated historic features shall be repaired rather than replaced. So the applicant has explained that this is necessary to preserve the building, increase energy efficiency, and remove less lead-based paint. All the windows will feature, again, that kind of the same trim, the prairie grid style, in a design that would really match what's originally there now. The applicant found double hung wood window replacements to closely match them. So, the wood windows do really match what is present on the property. However, the fiberglass and window replacements do not match the existing material of the basement and bathroom windows. Therefore, staff's opinion that they do not meet this criterion, unfortunately. The applicant, this is a finding again about the chemical and physical treatments. The applicant's not proposing any chemical or physical treatments, so any planned cleanings would be required to meet the standards set forth with the Secretary of Interior. So the criterion can be met with conditions based on the Secretary of Interior standards. Any significant archaeological resources affected by this project shall be protected and preserved. So if resources must be disturbed, mitigation measures shall be undertaken. Now, there's no excavation or ground disturbances that are indicated with this application, so it's really not applicable. So new additions, exterior alterations related to new construction shall not destroy materials that characterize the property. So this new work would need to be compatible with massing, size, and scale, and architectural features to protect the historic integrity of the property and its environment. So the exterior alterations to the historic structure will be required to follow the historic guidelines for the Trevitz Edition. The proposed windows shall be compatible in size and scale. Wood windows are compatible with the architectural features of the building. Again, the iconic prairie grid trim that they have, it will be replicated. However, replacing the existing wood windows with vinyl or fiberglass will remove features that are characteristic to this building. And so it's staff's opinion that this criterion is not met. Any new additions adjacent or related to the new construction shall be undertaken in a manner that, if removed, the essential form and integrity of the historic property and its environment would be unimpaired. So, the essential form and structure with a window replacement really isn't impaired with this. And so the criterion's met. So these set of guidelines are for the Trevitz Edition specifically in our code. So a little different than the last application. And I just summarized it to really talk about the windows. So again, replacing historic windows, it's best to repair before replacing. And the replacement of original windows and doors isn't recommended. However, when it's necessary, material, size, proportion, and scale and detail of the original should be matched in order to preserve the historic integrity. And that new construction should use double hung 1/1 or 2/2 windows with a simple flat trim. And it specifically states that the use of vinyl windows is not recommended. So staff found that, with the proposed first floor windows, excluding the bathroom window, the double hung wood windows with, they're a double hung window with simple flat trim, and they'll match the existing trim color scheme that's presented on the building now with, again, that prairie grid. So, staff found that this would be, consistent with what the building looks like now for the first floor wood windows. However, the vinyl and the fiberglass windows do not match the material of the existing windows, which is inconsistent with this criterion. So therefore, the vinyl and fiberglass windows do not meet this criterion, and the criterion is ultimately not met. The next and last guideline is revolving around color. It's kind of interesting. These guidelines, go like, okay, the darkest window sash, the medium is the building, and the lightest trim is the detail. However, this building, they're matching what's already there. And so that's ultimately preferred rather than trying to change it to match some of these descriptions. So staff found that the proposed paint palette meets, meets our criterion, and, they'll need to notify the landmark secretary, so myself, of the final color choice if different from the existing windows for the historic home. But as of now, they are proposed to be the same. So this can be met with conditions. Okay, so staff's ultimate recommendation is to deny this application. Due to the fact that they are installing or proposing to install vinyl and fiberglass windows on this building face. So I did 2 commission alternatives up here, but that concludes the findings of the staff report. Yeah.
Any questions, commissioners of the staff?
I do. So the front facade of the building, it looks like it has casement windows instead of the double hung windows. And are those going to be replaced with casement windows as well, or?
So they are proposing, just a second here. Double hung windows on that one. So I guess it wouldn't match the casement.
Okay. And then you're finding A6. you state, since the applicant has demonstrated that the windows need to be replaced due to deterioration. Exactly how did they demonstrate that? Because it seems to me, I walked by the building, those windows look like, other than needing some new glazing, putty and paint, look perfectly good to me.
So they demonstrated that in their application that there was deterioration. However, I'd encourage you guys to ask the applicant to elaborate on that further.
Okay.
Any other questions for staff? Thank you very much, Caitlin.
Thanks.
Right. If anyone would like to speak on behalf of this and let us know what you're trying to do, please step on up. Please state your name and address for the record, and remember to try to talk very loudly into that microphone.
I'm Greg Austin. The address is 201 West 4th Street, which is
Your mailing address.
201 West 4th. It's different from the on there.
Kira Austin, 201 West 4th Street.
Aubrey Harley, 201 West 4th Street.
Thank you all very much.
So this is really exploratory and educational for us to learn what it is that is significant in the historical district and what is going to be required. In the slide, there's 34 windows in this building, 4 doors. So it's a significant cost to change them out. But in the what we're looking at for today right now is the 2 bathroom windows there with a red square around it. Upstairs is a bathroom, downstairs is a bathroom. Those are both existing. So because the window's at grade, there's a lot of water accumulation, snow accumulation that's happened over the years. So there is some deterioration of that. But we were looking at what it is that you will allow. And we learned from the previous applicant that it sounds like wood would be the one that you guys would be most likely to accept.
At the ground level, is there a little retainer, what do you call that?
Is there a window well there? Is it
Window
down
well.
in the well or is it just at grade?
It's
A little bit above?
A little bit above, 4 to 6 inches above.
There might be perhaps a drainage issue of just a structural thing that I don't know the answer, but you guys can.
And then maybe, those front facade windows, the casement ones. Those are behind, there's a storm window or something in front of those.
yes.
Right now, so.
Looking to replace those just yet. And they wouldn't be replaced as a single or double hung. It would be a casement window we would want to replace with.
The front ones.
Yeah.
Okay. Are there separate panes where the mullions come down, that prairie detail? Is it separate panes of glass or is it one sheet with that detail on top of it? Just curious. You understand what I'm saying?
Are they separate little panes of glass divided by the wooden grid? Okay.
I've seen on TV shows where they do it to save money. They'll do a single pane and they'll make the wood detail on top of that, and that saves a bit of money. I'm not sure if that's.
Feasible.
Yeah.
No, the glazing is, that little square is its own glazing.
Its own glazing.
Yeah.
So you'd
Well, those are fantastically beautiful windows. And you've moved into a great neighborhood and a great house. And one of the things that's really fantastic about that house is it has its original windows. So many of the houses, we've lost that. And they really are character defining features that are irreplaceable. I mean, you might spend a ton of money and put windows in that look pretty similar or more or less from the street look the same. But I don't think you'll find the quality and
it'll be glued and stapled and
yeah.
mailed off.
And I think whatever
a
you can do
fortune.
to
So if
save
you-
those windows,
So,
gonna save you money in the long run.
so we've done some research and I think for money cost and stuff like that is to try to restore the existing windows, the upper ones at least. But the basements for sure need to be replaced just because it's super deteriorated. And we are remodeling the basement to make it livable. And we will be trying to add an egress window as well.
By law, don't you have to have that straight away for renters and things in that, yeah. That well situation might come into play, but then is a door to those units down there, is that an option? There's a way of getting out with the door?
Yeah, there's a
in the
side door.
basement?
Yes.
Julie or Scott, did either of you have questions? I see Scott's joined us now.
Scott, you're muted.
Got it. Thank you. No, I don't have any questions. I'm just getting up to speed here. Thank you.
I have a question for you, Eric, for our learning knowledge.
Uh-huh.
So you said that the restoration of windows can be almost as energy efficient. So when you say restoration of windows, is it changing out the glass too, or just repairing the glazing and the?
Yeah, just the glazing pretty much, and making sure that you have good seal around, sometimes they take them out and they run a groove inside that so that you can get a really good tight seal with a weather stripping.
So add some weather stripping to it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes they do that, and that seems to be where most of the energy loss is due to air around rather than through the panes. They also do interior storm windows, which are kind of press fit storm windows, which if you're really concerned about energy efficiency and all of that kind of stuff, help. But I think just mostly they say that just there's some pretty recent publications about it that I could try and share with you, but mostly just weather stripping and making sure the glazing's good and all of that kind of stuff. Really, I think it was like 90% of what an insulated window.
Gilded
gives you.
glass is highly prized. I mean, it's hard to get. I know it's thin, but you can see it straight away that the waves and the things, and it's expensive to find.
Mhm.
People just break it and it's gone. But
And-
it's nice to, have.
Like you said, it's the old growth wood,
Yeah.
good solid wood, and those windows are mostly in good shape. But the
Yeah.
upstairs ones anyways.
And I think there fairly often there's a wood restoration class taught. We've done 2 here in the Dalles. And then there's also Clatsop Community College puts them on pretty regularly. And they're kind of a good thing to go to. And it's really not all that hard a skill to learn. And
Plastered class not long ago, but not a stucco class. Now that would
yeah,
be an interesting class.
stucco
for
might be a
you.
little more challenging.
The windows right now, they don't open because of the paint. So that's kind of a reason why we wanted to replace them. But if we would rather restore it if that's the cheapest option and best option.
Yeah, that would be great, really. And they do go through all of that in the classes. And actually, I think Chris Gustafson, who taught the class here a couple months ago, has like a YouTube channel or something where he shows a bunch of things.
We love the existing windows. I think they're really cool and really bright.
Yeah, and I think I just kind of walked by briefly, and from the sidewalk, they look pretty good. They look better than the windows.
Basements though are the ones that will probably need replacement.
Yeah, and maybe at some point, come back.
I have a question. Is that wood lattice or is that plastic lattice?
Oh, over the basement windows?
Because it's vinyl.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
And that was there when we bought it.
Yeah.
Any further questions of them?
No.
Anything else you would like to share? Julie, Scott, anything else you would like to question or add?
Nope, thank you.
I'd like to add,
Oh, yeah.
I'd like to make you official members of the Fools of 4th Street. I live on 4th Street, virtually across the street from you. And all of the people, Victor and all our friends are restoring old houses. We dubbed ourselves the Fools of 4th Street. So welcome to the,
Oh,
to
you
the
did,
club.
you did mention you get a few calls from someone. Can you elaborate on that?
Well, they had mostly read the landmark application and were concerned about the replacement of windows because they're like going through the same thing and it's like, well, you've made me fix my windows. So it was kind of that.
I do just want to add, staff has not received any comment.
Anything else? Thank you all very much.
And if you want to reach out at some point, I've taken a bunch of window restoration classes and I have a 5-gallon bucket of window putty, the good linseed oil stuff, which I've been sharing with people
good-
on 4th
the
Street.
good
So,
stuff.
Okay.
You've got the good stuff.
yeah.
All right, so now at this time, I would ask if there's any opponents to this application. Seeing no one, we will move on. Does the commission have enough information to now make a decision? Okay, I will close the public hearing. We will debate amongst ourselves. Scott, you'll have to unmute yourself if you want to add anything. Oh, you can hear. Yeah.
So do we have the condition of approval in our packet?
Oh, well, I think we only have one of them. Caitlin, would you mind pulling up the conditions again? There is one.
There are no conditions because
right,
it's
that's
a
right.
recommended denial.
Right.
What was at the end of your presentation then? Could you pull up that last slide
Yes.
that you had?
Yes.
One was a staff recommendation, the other was a modified
Mm.
one. Yes, thank
Okay.
you. Is
Yes.
that what you're thinking?
Mm-hmm. Anybody want to discuss?
I would say, I wouldn't like to help them out with this and say, like, if we had a condition of approval that they use wood on that, then we can just pass their application now and get them going. But I would like to see what you guys think with that.
I agree with that. It's time they're working on it and it looks, it's a duplex, so they're probably renting part of it and that's money.
Exactly,
I'd say
exactly.
I
It's save
agree
time.
with
Instead of having to come back into a whole other application.
So what are you thinking then?
I think we should try to modify number 2 there with conditions of approval and say that they have to use wood or restore what's already there.
I'm good.
I'm not completely comfortable with that.
What are you thinking?
I think maybe the first floor windows to restore those. And then maybe if the basement windows are too deteriorated, then to allow the replacement of those in wood.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So either they do it in wood or replace what they have. So if they can't replace what they have, then do it in new wood. But I don't know how we would word that in a condition of approval there, because then we need the whole first floor.
We can do it in 2 different conditions.
That's
right?
true. That's true. Yeah.
One that they would retain the original windows on the first floor. And if
I'm making that motion.
I can make
He's going
that
to-
motion.
Thank you.
I guess I'll do a modification of Commission Alternative 2, which is to approve HLC application 208-22 and with 2 additional conditions of approval. One would be that the original windows are retained and repaired on the first floor. And 2, that if the basement windows are found to be too deteriorated to repair, that they would be replaced with wooden windows.
So either the basement windows can be original or replaced with wood, based on deterioration.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have a second.
I second that motion.
Thank you. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I
Aye. And we'll have to get Scott's vote.
God, are you voting?
I am. Aye.
Watching the ball game.
Yeah, probably.
All those opposed? There's none, and this passes.
All right. Well, thanks for coming and yeah, reach out if you need.
Thank you for applying.
Yeah.
Too many windows.
It is.
They need to address that drainage. If it's the dirt right there and it's rotting, they need to do, what do you call it, a well?
Yeah, because it'll affect the sill as well as the.
Yeah.
My family has in Colorado because they get the rain and the snow there. They have a big old well.
We don't get that much, well, we get a ton of snow.
Yeah. I don't know if they have an overhang though that might protect from that, but
Can I have a quick clarifying question on the motion?
Yeah.
Who will determine, do you want staff to determine the amount of deterioration
Yeah, I think
for the basement windows?
so.
Okay,
That's fair.
okay, cool. Thanks. I just
Thank
wanted
you.
that clarification. And then the rest of the conditions would be the same as the Gym A application with, the treatments and all that. Okay,
their colors and everything. Yeah.
awesome. Cool. Thank you.
Okay. So next we are moving on to resolutions.
I'll move that we approve HLC Resolution 194
I second that.
22 for 116 East Second Street.
And we have a
I
second.
second that.
Okay. All those, all those in favor say aye.
I,
All those opposed?
Scott, Commissioner Stevenson wasn't here for the first hearing.
Okay.
He will abstain.
Understood.
Okay.
So
And-
that passes. Okay.
Okay.
Next resolution.
I move that we pass resolution HLC 195-22 for 201 West Fourth Street with the amended conditions of approval.
Okay. We have a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Scott, are you voting on the second
Aye.
one?
Reluctantly.
There we go. All ayes. All right, and both of those have passed. Next, any discussion items that we need to discuss? How's everyone doing? Anything historical we wanted to talk about?
the wall dogs.
Wall
That's
dogs happening.
exciting.
Yeah, we saw this little add-on in our packet here. Somewhere we had a add-on, which was very nice, showing where all the, yeah, right here on page 26, showing where all the murals are gonna go. Really appreciate staff adding this in here. That's very helpful. I wish it showed the dates of when they were all going up though.
Still happening right
Well,
now.
today,
It's going.
Oh, that's right. That's what's right
All
outside.
happening.
Yeah, I was wondering what was going on. Okay,
Yeah.
that's delightful. That is awesome.
Got
today,
Ben's
tomorrow, and well through Sunday, I think.
Yeah.
Yep.
on the corner.
Yeah. All right. Well, Julie, did you have anything to discuss with us?
Not to discuss, but up at the museum, we have a new lead docent, Crystal Davis Ross. And that's taking a lot of the pressure off of our very overloaded volunteers. It's wonderful to have someone there who's full-time. So it's looked good. We're having lots of boats come in. Lots of visitors.
That's excellent to hear. Scott, anything you would like to add?
No, thank you.
I guess, as part of the Wall Dogs thing, the Rorick House, the Wasco County Historical Society drafted me to drive my steam car.
Ooh.
So we'll be doing steam car demonstrations and rides up at the Rorick House, probably between the Rorick House and Fort Dallas Museum on Friday and Saturday from at least 2 to 4. So,
We were, Mr. Eggy and I were at Warwick House doing a talk on Ben Snipes and Victor.
yeah, I'm sorry I missed that.
It was riveting.
I'm sure it was.
Yes.
Car is powered by steam?
Uh-huh. It's a 1918 Stanley.
Is it your car?
Hmm.
That's awesome.
That's amazing. I want to come out and see that.
Is it made in the US or is it from?
It was made in Massachusetts. And it's big.
Goes down the streets for you.
So it's at Rorick House. What is it at the museum in the, where do you park that?
Oh, it's parked in the Wing Hong High basement right now.
Oh, okay.
But usually it's on display up at Wham in Hood River.
Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah, we drove it down on Sunday.
Oh, that was a scary drive, I bet.
Well, we took 14, so.
There you
it's
go.
not near as scary as trying to go down 84 at 30 miles an hour.
Yeah. All right, let's see what else we have on our agenda here. Staff comments.
So staff doesn't have any comments at this time, but next meeting, we will have some exciting discussion topics to talk about. So stay tuned.
When is our next meeting scheduled for?
Jeez.
It's like a pop
Sometime in
quiz.
September? One moment.
To check
I
the
should write
calendar.
that
I'll stop sharing.
down. September the 4th, the 28th. That's the
December 28th.
fourth Wednesday.
Thank you, Paula.
Most welcome.
Commissioner comments. Thank you all very much for sticking with me today. It was my first chairing, so I think it went out well.
Well done.
Yeah, thank you.
Good
Yeah.
job.
And other than that, if there's nothing else, let's adjourn.
And
Oh, too
thanks
late.
for those excellent staff reports.
Yeah, good job,
Yeah.
Caitlin. We do.